Welcome to your journey of healing with the Healing Podcast, hosted by licensed clinician Monique Owe and co-host Dr. Amber Mohn.
Thank you for tuning into the Healing Podcast. I'm your host, Monique Owe, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host here,
Dr. Amber Mohn.
And today's topic is they consistently lie, but you keep believing them. Let me say that again. They consistently lie, but you keep believing them. Okay, so what is this topic about? This topic is about when people have shown you behaviors, have shown you that they are not truthful, but you keep on trusting them. You keep on, believing the alternative. And here you are. You just keep on with them. And even though they've shown you something different. So Dr. Mohn, my question is to you, why do you think people will hang around people or keep people in their life that continuously lie, but and the person will still trust them? Why do you think that is? Do you have any idea why that is?
I don't think that they do believe them. I think that they just want to believe them. And I believe that, some people do believe who a person is by their actions, but I would question, what is your reason for sticking around? But a person lies, enough times, you kind of know that they're going to continue lying. I just would like to know why you would continue sticking around.
Well, I think that is the issue. It's just knowing why would you stick around, knowing that you've seen different behaviors in this person. So, okay, let's look at if you want to be really nice. Maybe you're very understanding and you feel like, oh, well, they're lying about this, but it's not a big deal. Because there are some people who exaggerate. You do have levels of lies, right?
Yes.
I'm still going to always say, everyone lies. People like to say, oh, I never lie. Yes, you do. You do lie. But you just don't lie about maybe big things. You lie about small things, right? Did you have only one cookie or did you have 3? When a doctor says, hey, how many times do you work out a week? Oh, I work out 3 times a week. You don't work out any. Those are the lies that people do. Get pulled over for speeding. I didn't know I was speeding. You knew you were speeding, right? So we have those lies. They're not really hurting anyone, Dr. Mohn, right? They just little lies we do. Application on a job. How much experience do you have? Well, I managed a team of 30. It was really only 5 people. Things like that. The income on a credit application, you up the income just a little bit, right? So those are the little lies that people do, but they're not really affecting anyone. So some people have people like that in their lives, Dr. Mohn, when they know this person always exaggerates. They always embellish. They make so many deals, business deals, and they do so many great things, Dr. Mohn, and you're looking at them like, okay, here we go. I don't know. Is that a problem, having those people in your life? The people who embellish, who exaggerate?
No.
Those people aren't a problem.
No.
So you can keep them in your life.
You can keep them in your life.
They're probably sometimes even entertaining because you're like, do you know what this person is?
And I was going to say that because I have somebody in our family that they tell probably the same 6 stories every time you see them. And the story is never the same, but it's so funny. You love hearing it. And so, no, you keep those people in your life. It is entertaining.
It's entertaining, right? Those are the people that even when they tell you it, when they leave, you call the next person, so you know what such and such said this time, right? Yes. So those are the people that we keep around, right? Not a problem. But the ones who do damage, the ones who when they've already done something that was a little damaging, that maybe affected you in a way, but you kind of keep them close, even though you've seen it. You've seen how far they can go with something that's not true, but you keep them. I think it happens because as people, we always I think we more so believe the good in people, the good intentions versus the alternative. So I think we're always hopeful, Dr. Mohn. This is my take. Well, they won't do it again. I think you're always hopeful that there's a reason behind it. You always justify their behavior for them. Well, I see why they did it because they were going through this, so that's why they made it up and they thought this was going to happen. So I can see why they did it. The problem is when you keep seeing it and the damage it does to you. I think we always want to believe there's something more to it. versus it just being what it is. The person has a problem with lying. And I think people who have a problem with lying, they don't think about the consequence their lie has to others. They are thinking very much about themselves, very much about what they're going through or what they're experiencing in their head and why they have to lie about it. So how it affects you doesn't matter. It matters how they get through it. So I think the reason we keep people in our lives or we keep believing them is because I think we like to believe the positive. We like to be an optimistic society overall. I'm not saying we don't have pessimistic people or thoughts, but we like to believe, we like to be hopeful, right?
Right.
There's always a brighter day. That's what we like to believe. So I think that's why we keep people like that in our lives. But I don't know, Dr. Mohn, what do you think? Was there another reason we keep people like that in our lives? Is it something we're getting out of it?
And there you go. That's what I was going to say. What are we getting out of the deal? And that's a big thing, especially with people who have assets.
Oh,
Maybe financial gain, maybe just comfortability. We tend to take more of them lies because, it's a give and take. You lie over here, but you're taking care of me over there. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So here's my other question, Dr. Mohn. If we know the person lies, right, we know who they are, and you keep believing them, but then you have a consequence, should I be understanding to you when you cry to me about it? This person lied to me again. This is what happened because of it. Should I be understanding to that person?
No. My thing is that, maybe the first time they come to you, you be there for them. But if they're still there I'm having trouble with saying believe in the lies because a lot of people know they're being lied to. And so they're going along. I feel better saying going along with the lies. Because some of it just gets ridiculous. What do they say, Monique? And you can help me with this. Oh my gosh. So they say that if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember.
Right.
But when you lie, you have to remember that lie. And typically, there's a lot of holes. Like you can't retell it.
Right.
So I say going along with the lies because, And so no, you coming to answer your question. You coming to me every 5 days saying, well, he lied again. He said he was over here and went over there. Like, no, at some point, you got to just say, like, you keep going along with it. Like he showed you several times, So no, I don't think you should, be understanding.
Okay, so there comes to that consequence of showing people like, listen, I can't keep being a support for you when you keep falling into that. Now I understand listen, this is a case by case. This is not like a blanket statement because you do have to take the situation as it comes. But what I'm saying, you have to ask yourself, what is it in you that you allow yourself to consistently believe what you know is the alternative? You know this person is the opposite or something happened that wasn't the way they said it. But what in you keeps you there? Like you said, Dr. Mohn said there's a benefit. There's something that person does for you that you're like, well, I at least get this out of the deal. But at what cost again? At what cost do you keep having to deal with this person being untrue or not truthful? And then here's the thing too. They've shown you fraudulent behavior. They've shown you that they're willing to do things that are not honest. But you keep at it and you keep staying there. Well, here's the consequence. What happens when that lie truly affects your livelihood? When they do something that you turn a blind eye to and it really starts to result into a legal consequence for you, then what? I think you just have to ask yourself, what is it about that person that you want them so badly in your life that you're willing to deal with the deceit? I think, Dr. Mohn, maybe it's a love thing, Dr. Mohn. Maybe they give them some type of affection. And if that person feels like, I can't get affection anywhere else but from this person, I guess that would be the reason you keep believing the lie. Right? Would that be the case?
Yeah, it could be.
Okay. I think you got to watch people's actions. You know what? Let's make a quick segue here. Before we get back into this, going to make a quick segue into, you guessed it, the situation. Dr. Mohn, what's our situation for today?
Okay, here's our situation. So, Dear Healing Podcast, I'm not very pleased with how my life has turned out. I made some poor financial choices when I was in my 20s. I do not want to share my current age. I'm a college graduate and I'm employed. My past decisions have made me in financial catch-up mode, preventing me any wiggle room due to my credit score. I look around at other people my age and friends, and they seem to be doing much better than I am. It is sometimes depressing. I wonder when I will start to see a turn in a positive direction, especially in my finances. Do you have any feedback? Wow. I absolutely do. So, and I get that you don't want to share your age, and that's fine, but let me just tell you, and this is from experience, my 20s were the same way. Wasn't worried about any credit score. I wasn't worried about any of that. I feel like as long as you have air in your lungs, you can always turn it around. There's so many like education, the classes and things, cards that allow you to put money on their what is it, prepaid cards or something like that. Yeah, where you can put money on there and build it up. There's Credit Karma. There's all type of ways that you can monitor your credit and start turning it around. So, and my thing is just take it little by little. And I can, speak all day about how you can, do that. But, do your research. But I think most importantly, is set some goals for yourself. What is it that you want to complete short term and long term? Where do you want to be in 5 years when it comes to your finances? And then, start looking at what can I do now to start working towards that. And you've already outlined that it's your credit. So get started on your credit. And it's so easy to do. And just, be more focused. You might have to sacrifice some things. You might have to not go on any trips, or you might have to stop eating out, so much. Figure out where all your money is going. Figure out how you can start saving while you're working on your credit. So, Monique, what do you think?
I think I have pretty much similar thoughts, Dr. Mohn. I thank you for writing into the Healing Podcast and for sharing your situation. I think you do have to evaluate what's going on. I think you need to pull your bank statement, and I think you need to look at your monthly spending. Where does your money go the most? And if there's something on there that can be reduced or eliminated, eliminate that thing and take that money that you now save from that and put it somewhere. Don't use that money to get a new debt. Not just yet. Use that money to go into a savings or someplace where you don't touch it, like a secure card, or I think there's a card called Self-Lender. And what you do, it is good for your credit. You're paying it to yourself. You basically commit to a year. I don't think you can commit to less. You can commit to a year or more. And every month when you make the payment to that card, it's just putting it in like an account. And at the end of the year, you have the option to just cash it out and you'll have some money in your pocket, or just keep it going. But every month they're reporting to the bureau like you're paying a credit card on time. So it's almost like a secure card, but it's a little different because you can't spend it at all. It's not like they will give it to you like a credit card to eventually spend. They'll just give you your money back. You can do that. What I'll say is look at your job. I think you said you have a degree. I think that's what the person said, right?
Yeah.
Is your job matching your experience? Is it time to leave your job? Sometimes you're maybe underpaid, so you need to seek a job that will pay you just a little bit more. So I would say branch out, apply for a job that might pay you more. With that increase in salary, again, don't increase the debt. Take that extra to put it towards your savings. Take that extra to put it towards a secure card, something that's going to help you build up your score and stay consistent. If you like to eat out a lot, consider cooking. If you can't cook or you don't like to cook, maybe consider getting more frozen dinners, things that you can just warm up, that, a little cheaper than just going out to eat all the time. And sometimes it's not going out to eat, it's the delivery. It's because you always get it through Uber Eats, through Grubhub, through DoorDash, and those delivery fees are the things that can mount up. If you ever look at your statement, look at how much the delivery fees are. Between the delivery fees, the tips, those things can accrue to be a large amount. And maybe if you reduce that, that's again money towards savings that you can use to pay off other things. But one thing I'm going to say is don't look at other people's circumstance if you don't really truly know what's going on. That's what you see, but that's not what you know. So focus on you. Dr. Mohn said get a 5-year goal. I think that's a good thing to have a 5-year plan, and just month by month, day by day, keep working at it and know that you can get out of it. Dr. Mohn said as long as you have breath in your lungs, I believe the same thing. Just keep going day by day. Do thank you for sharing your situation. Hope that's been helpful to you. And thank you for writing into the Healing Podcast. If you're out there and you want to share your situation anonymously, please go ahead and email support@thehealingpodcast.com. Or you can go to thehealingpodcast.com and hit the contact tab, and you can contact us and share your situation that way. So before we get back into the topic, a word from our sponsor, Healing Expressions.
Are you someone who has been considering therapy? Perhaps someone else has told you that you need to talk to a therapist. Or maybe you're in a relationship and you want to discuss some challenges that you've been facing with your significant other. Maybe there's a communication issue, perhaps an incident of infidelity. Or maybe you just want to strengthen your relationship because you guys are thinking about taking another step. Maybe you're struggling with anxiety or depression, perhaps grief, life stressors, and you just want to share your thoughts with someone. Well, consider contacting Healing Expressions. Healing Expressions is a private practice located in the Atlanta, Georgia area. You will be given a session at an affordable price with a licensed therapist. If this resonates with you, consider going to healingexpressionsllc.com, reading about the practice, and hitting the contact tab to see if you can book a session. All right, thank you so much. And back to the Healing Podcast.
Okay, back into the topic of they consistently lie, but you keep believing them. So here's the thing. If you have people in your life, right, that have been not truthful, even about maybe infidelities, right, Dr. Mohn, they consistently say they're going to stop. They consistently tell you they're not going to do that anymore. But you keep going back and you keep allowing it to happen. What is it doing to you? I'm assuming that's got to be, heartbreaking, Dr. Mohn?
Absolutely.
It's got to create lonely.
Yeah.
It's got to create some anger a little bit and resentment because the person keeps doing the thing that you asked them not to do, and they keep lying about it, like, oh, I didn't do that. And you keep catching them, oh, I didn't do that. And you keep catching them, like you said, it's heartbreaking, it's depressing, it's lonely, it can make you angry. And how long do you want to deal with that? How long do you want to see them telling you something that you know is the alternative? How long, whatever you're gaining from it, is it really worth that? Why do you keep believing them? Is it because someone didn't believe you at one point, so you feel like you always want to believe others? You know, I think, Dr. Mohn, sometimes that happens. When we go through something where somebody doesn't believe us and they didn't give us a chance and we know we were telling the truth, we feel like we need to extend that same grace to somebody else. Would you think that's true?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I think you got to, in those cases, you got to listen to the facts. And my thing is, it's fine to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. But how many times do you want to do that before you do something different?
That is true. Now, maybe it's something within us, Dr. Mohn, a person, meaning like we're so good to where we don't want to see the alternative, because thinking the alternative would really affect us. Like if I really go into the fact this person really lied, like me believing that lie really shows me how, I guess, not so good of a person they were. And I'd rather believe the positive about them. So maybe it's more helpful to the person to believe the lie. Would that be the case?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So sometimes it's something within you. You rather believe the positive because really facing the truth would really be more damaging, you feel. So it's just better to believe the fantasy about it or whatever this person is saying. And again, you have to weigh it out. Like I said, if it's the person who always exaggerates, embellishes, those people are probably comical to you. They give you a good laugh sometimes. But when it's people who you know are willing to just say something that's not true, you have to wonder, at what point will it turn against you? At what point will they say something that's not true that will affect you? And you have to realize they might do it, right? Because if you're willing to lie to me about it, that means you might be willing to do something else to cover themselves, right? This is not about you. You have to remember, a person that lies a lot, it's never really about you. It's about what they think in their head and what they believe is true. I guess, would we say that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Dr. Mohn, any way a person can get through this, though, to stop believing the lie, a way they can stop doing that or being so gullible?
I think that you just have to believe that whatever this person is, you're getting from this person, that you can get it elsewhere and then some. Like, you don't have to continue to be lied to. You can, you can stop the cycle by doing something different. So you can, address this person and just say, hey, these are my issues. Seems like you're never truthful with me. And so I can't trust or be with someone or, continue to have someone who doesn't have my best interest in mind. I can't do this. And so then you have to stick to that if they continue to do that.
Yeah, I think so. I think the good thing you said, you said you can confront them. You can address the behavior. Like, look, I think Dr. Mohn, you hit the nail on the head. You can confront them. And I think some people get afraid of confrontation. They think confrontation is a fight. It's not. It's just, I can address you. Hey, you keep on lying to me. I don't like it. I'm not going to accept it. You can do that. You can realize whatever that person is doing for you, you can find a way to get it yourself. Or someone else can do that and not lie to you. I think you could maybe find out what is it that you are fearful of as well, with hearing the truth, and just, realizing you matter and the truth, you do deserve to hear the truth, and not to be so trusting to where you keep believing the alternative. So maybe work on maybe not being so trusting to people, maybe being a little guarded sometimes, not too guarded to where you isolate, but just a little guarded. Anything else about this topic, Dr. Mohn?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay, so before we go, I will leave you with this, and that is, when a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And I think we've all probably heard that quote before. That is by Maya Angelou, and that is, when a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Okay. I thank you for your support and for tuning into the Healing Podcast. Tell your friends about it, your loved ones, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.